was it? And him go, he went, You know what that was? You think you coming back comes to me? The Lord, yes. Than to, than to dwell in the, yes, than to dwell in the tents of wickedness. I tell you.
Testing.
Huh?
I think I have to carry a little further from the speaker.
Sure. Try it out now then.
Amen. Thank you, Angela. That was so beautiful. Good morning, friends.
Morning.
And welcome to another Practitioner Sunday morning celebration here at the Temple of Light Center for Spiritual Living in Kingston, Jamaica. We will begin, as all things do here at the center, with our opening affirmative prayer. Please join me in consciousness. Together, we recognize that one power and presence operating in, through, and as each one of us this Sunday morning. We know that this presence, which is God, now conducts this service, and that every activity takes place in right and perfect order. So I know for our speaker, Sandy, and for every idea that is brought to bear on this morning's service, that all who participate within the sound of my voice and those of us sharing with us on our Facebook Live, that indeed these words inspire, it uplifts, and it blesses. So we know that this morning's activity now goes out into the world to heal, to bless, and to liberate anyone who hears these words this morning. So I give thanks for coming together for the shared experience this day, and I release this word to that infinite law of mine which has already made it so. And together we say, and so it is. And now we'll have our inspirational reading this morning. And it comes to us from our Sense of Mind magazine. And it's entitled, God Has Something for Me to Do. The fact that I am here certainly shows me that the soul had need of an organ here. Shall I not assume the post? Ralph Waldo Emerson. And the other quote from Ernest Holmes, this thing called you is, the activity of spirit inspires my mind and flows through my actions. Life lies open to me, rich, full, and abundant. In Science of Mind and New Thought, we place a high value on individuality. We know ourselves to be unique expressions of the infinite life of God. We are here because we are needed now. Beneath any egocentric need for significance or recognition, there is a deep awareness in our minds and soul that this is true. We are here for a holy purpose. This can be a little scary. What if I get it wrong? The perfectionist fear. What if I can't figure out what my thing is to do? What if I do? Doesn't matter. Take a breath. You are here to be you. Fully and authentically you. It's not about making an imprint on history or changing thousands of lives, unless that is what results naturally from your authentic expression. Our work is to be who we are and give our gift without judging it, and trust Spirit to use it for the highest good of all. Then there is no concern about big or small, only about being true. We will stumble and stall. At times, it will feel like it's all just too much. We will be unsure about next steps. There are no wrong turns. Every part of the journey is right. My friend Chris Terry says, the universe has infinite organizing capacity, meaning that God uses everything to reveal its wholeness, even our mistakes and flaws. So relax, be yourself, and give freely and watch what happens. And our affirmation this morning is, I am willing to be more of my authentic self. I know that my life is the life of God in individualized expression, and I live it with reverence and grace. I give of my time and talents freely, and so it is. Yes. Beautiful. And now please join me in our praise song this morning, Be Thou My Vision. And I'd like to invite you to stand as we do the praise song.
Be thou my vision, O Lord of my heart, not be all else to me, save that thou art. Thou my best thought, by day or by night, waking or sleeping, thy presence my light. Be thou my wisdom and my true one. I ever with thee, and thou with me, Lord. Thou my great Father, I thy true Son. Thou in me dwelling, and I with thee one. Riches I heed not, nor man's empty praise. Thou mine inheritance, now and always. Thou and thou only, first in my heart. High King of heaven, my treasure thou art. High King of heaven, my victory won. May I reach heaven's before. Still be my vision, O ruler of all.
Thank you. Please be seated. We now do the lighting of the candle. let us together do the blessing for our children of the world. We love you. We appreciate you. We salute the Christ in you. And we see you as shining lights onto your world. God is blessing you now. And so it is. Wonderful. And we'll move now into the prayer of our center. And that's on the flyer in your program and on the screen for those of you joining us on Facebook Live. Together, let us stand and say the prayer of our center. The Temple of Light Center for Spiritual Living is a sacred field embodying our spiritual community from which the Christ's peace, love, and joy emanate to touch, to heal, to bless, to prosper, and to liberate anyone who comes into contact with it in any way. The light of the Christ illumines us, our center, and our environment. Our spiritual community is filled with and surrounded by the presence of God and is growing from strength to strength. The power of God expands our consciousness of truth, guiding us ceaselessly along the paths of wisdom, spiritual growth, unfoldment, and attainment. We are blessed, and to God be the honor and the glory forever, and so it is. And please remain standing as we do our temple mission song. The temple
of light, the temple of light, the temple of light. We are a people with a vision, one in spirit, on a mission, to touch, to heal, to bless, to prosper, to love and liberate anyone who comes into contact with us, anytime, night or day. The temple of light, the temple of light, the temple of light. We are a people with a vision, one in spirit, on a mission, to touch, to heal, to bless, to prosper, to love and liberate anyone who comes into contact with us, anytime, night or day.
Yay! Okay, please be seated. Thank you. It's now time for the announcements. Our flowers this week are a loving gift from Mrs. Noel Chisholm and Dr. Thelma Nelson in celebration of Pharmacy Week, which was observed November 15th to 21st. Thank you, Mrs. Chisholm and Dr. Nelson. And they were exquisitely arranged by Mrs. Glynis Young. Thank you, ladies. They're beautiful. Let's give them another round of applause. Awesome. You are invited to spend a few quiet moments in the garden with Reverend John Scott on Monday mornings at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook Live. And please join us again on Facebook Live for our Spiritual Mind Healing Service on Tuesday, November 24th at 6 p.m. This week, our speaker will be practitioner Steve Golding, so that's something you want to tune into. And you won't want to miss our next Sunday, November 29th, which will be observed as Youth Sunday. That's one of my favorite Sundays on the calendar every year, and so I ask you to come out and support our youth. They have a treat in store for all of you. I'm not giving it away, so please come. See you on Sunday. Services at the temple. Please remember to call our office at 876-946-2230 if you are intending to attend our Sunday celebration in person. As you know, congregants attending must wear a face mask and observe the prescribed protocols. Please also remember to maintain physical distancing and to leave the premises after the service as soon as possible. If you can't bless us with your presence on a Sunday, you can still be with us in consciousness as services continue to be live streamed on Facebook Live. Our classes. This Thursday, join Reverend John from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. for a new series of face-to-face classes here at the center titled Mental Equivalence. In these classes, you will discover how to measure and expand your thinking to create a larger mental image so that your greatest desires may be realized. And on Thursday evenings, there's another opportunity to join a class. Reverends Sonia Davidson and Ann Shand presents Revealing Wholeness, and that's online from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Classes cost Jamaican $1,600 per class for non-members and $1,200 for members. Class fees are payable at the office or to our savings account. That number is 20941 at the Bank of Nova Scotia, Knutsford Boulevard. Please register by emailing the temple at templeoflight@CW Jamaica or by calling the office at the number again, 876-946-2230. And this morning, friends, we have a very special event following this service. It's our annual general meeting. And members and non-members are welcome to attend, even though the non-members are not eligible to vote. And of course, as usual, we will be observing all the COVID protocols. So please participate this morning. It's right after the morning service for our annual general meeting. This year, instead of our annual Everyday Christmas Bazaar, as you all know, our organization Quadrant have organized a takeout luncheon for Friday, December 4th. The lunch will be ready for pickup from the temple between 12 noon and 4 and features a mouth-watering menu of rum barbecue chicken with gungo rice and peas or escovitch fish fillet with cinnamon fried bami, and lunches are only at a cost of $1,500. Tickets are available here at the temple as well as online at www.ghcaterers.com for online ordering. And I bet you couldn't tell me who is serving up all this sumptuous food. I just gave you a hint. Great House Caterers. Somebody whispered Reverend John. No comment, so sorry. Chef Theo. Chef Theo will be, we will do that, Vinti, I heard you, privately. So the main menu items. So please check the notice board and on Facebook Live for more information, okay? And remember, it's Friday, December 4th. So please support us. It's another one of our events by the temple organization Quadrant to raise much needed funds. Prayer support. We continue to respond with prayer to the challenges of this special time. Listen to an inspiring prayer by calling the prayer line at 876-978-1167. And if you wish to speak in person with one of our ministers, they may be reached at 876-289-0907 from 8 a.m. to 12 midnight, Mondays to Friday. You can also phone in your prayer requests into our office at 876-9276145 or 876-946-2230. Or again, you can email us at that email address, templeoflight@cwjamaica.com. Of course, you may drop off prayer requests, your tithes, your offerings, and set appointments for practitioner assistance. Friends, if you feel moved to support our ministry of love, and I have no doubt that you do, your loving gifts may be transferred to our savings account. The number again is 20941, Bank of Nova Scotia, New Kingston branch. And the viewers who join us on Facebook Live, please visit our home tab on the Facebook page, and you will find the link to our PayPal account donate button at the top post. And if you are worshiping with us here in person, there is a basket on either side of the podium in which you can place your offerings as you exit the sanctuary. This concludes the announcement. So please join us in the singing of our hymn, Guide Me, O Thou Living Presence. Please stand.
Guide me, O thou living presence, when I tread on barren land, with thy love and truth sustaining. Guide me with thy powerful hand. Thou art mighty, guiding rightly. Be thou still my strength and shield. Be thou still my strength and shield. Guide me with thy light and wisdom. Bid my wanderings subside. Lead me to the land abundant. Be thou e'er my constant guide. Ever reigning, ever winning, as thou showest, let me find. As thou showest, let me find. Open now the crystal fountain, whence the healing stream doth flow, while new consciousness within me leads me on my journey through. Lead me living, ever giving, joyfully thy praise I sing. Joyfully thy praise I sing.
Beautiful. Thank you. Please be seated. This morning, our speaker is fresh off the duties of co-hosting our recently concluded Summit 2020, and just yesterday, again, she assisted in facilitating the first strategy session. But being a facilitator is what she does in her professional capacity. So friends, please help me welcome practitioner Sandra Cooper, newly elected chair of our TMC, and this morning she will bring us a message which I'm sure will be a call to action. Sandy, please welcome.
Good morning, friends. It is a joy for me to be here this morning. Especially for those of you joining us on the World Wide Web. We took the time, those of you who are here took the time to get up, dress up, and show up. And those of you who are online, maybe sipping a cup of coffee, being comfortable, it is so good to have you here. Now, some weeks ago, I think Jennifer preempted me. The Thriving Ministry Council elected new leadership, replacing its retiring chair and vice chair. The election required council members to nominate individuals they thought fit for the role. Before proposing names to the council, members had to speak first to the nominee and ascertain that person's willingness to serve. I received a call asking me to accept the caller's nomination. I thanked the person for thinking of me and declined as graciously as I could. Soon afterwards, I received a second call from someone else, and once again, I turned them down. You see, I was absolutely clear that I didn't want the responsibility or accountability required of leadership, as I was hard-pressed enough to serve my clients and keep my business viable. I didn't think I would have the time for the kind of commitment that I believed was required for the role as chair of such an august body. But friends, were I to be honest, deep down I was terrified. Niggling questions arose in my mind like, suppose I fail? What if I got it wrong? What if? What if? What if? Have you ever had doubts like that where your mind questions your ability to do something? Have you? Mm-hmm. 2 more calls followed, and I had to stop and ask God, what on earth are you trying to tell me here? Didn't you hear that I said that I don't want this cup? Is there something you know that I don't? Well, before I had articulated these questions, the following thought popped into my consciousness. I am choosing you because you are the right person, and this is the right time, and you have gifts to share. Before I had time to chew on that idea, the 5th call came, and I said yes. Friends, in my professional life, I engage with many leaders for whom I provide what I hope to be valuable support to their planning, employee development, and personal empowerment. My last formal leadership role was over 2 decades ago, and I hated it. I made a promise to myself that I would avoid the responsibility of formal leadership for as long as I had the ability to choose. Yeah, right. This month, I celebrate 15 years running my own business. What an irony. If that isn't leadership, then I don't know what is. So here I am, chair-elect of the Thriving Ministry Council. After that election, I asked myself, what just happened? I know I wasn't drunk, and I don't recall consuming the pee of a crazed feline. I concluded that I must have been under the influence, but not of alcohol, but of the presence and power of spirit. It's a different kind of spirit. It was a life-changing realization, and it generated even more rumination. So as my spiritual family, you're going to get the full Monty of my reflections this morning in my message, which I have entitled, Leading Under the Influence. Friends, leading in any church community has to be motivated by more than pay, power, or personal glory. It takes great personal strength for ordinary people to take on leadership, and the depth from which that strength comes must be spiritual. The Bible has many stories of ordinary people who found the inspiration they needed to overcome great obstacles and become extraordinary and legendary leaders. For example, Noah. He built an ark to save himself, his family, and a host of animal life from the destruction that he believed was imminent because God told him so. Nobody believed his stories about the impending flood. Yet he persevered, proving that leaders do what's right even if they are alone. Joseph, he was sold into slavery by his jealous brothers. He was framed and thrown into prison while in Egypt. However, because of his gift of interpreting dreams, he became the leader of all Egypt, second only to the Pharaoh himself. Leaders have a vision that sustains them through difficult times. Then there is Moses. Oh, he protested strongly as to why he wasn't the right guy for the job. He stuttered. He made all kinds of excuses. When he finally does answer his calling, according to legend, he was able to step up and lead over 600,000 Israelites out of Egypt. Leaders stick up for their people. And David, now this is a little shepherd boy with a slingshot. And we read how he overcame the Philistines' 9-foot giant Goliath, proving that one can face any challenge as long as there is conviction and strength of resolve. Leaders are not afraid of big challenges. Peter denied knowing Jesus 3 times. Yet later, we see Peter giving the first sermon after Jesus' ascension to a crowd of thousands, amongst whom he had denied Jesus just a few days earlier. Leaders don't become discouraged when they fail. Well, now that I've had time to accept the role in consciousness, the quality of leadership I will bring has been influenced wholeheartedly by the principles of truth I learned at the feet of one of the most revered leaders I've ever been blessed to know, Reverend Dr. Elma Lumsden. Not only did I receive a thorough grounding in the science of mind from her, but I learned how to apply these principles in my life in practical ways. For example, I learned very early that life responded to my thoughts. I learned about the power of prayer, what we call spiritual mind healing treatment. I learned that words create worlds. I learned to tune into my inner awareness for the inspiration and guidance of spirit. And I learned how to generate significant, palpable good in my daily life, seeing it materialize with ease and grace, almost magically in some cases. As I continued to learn and grow, I became a licensed practitioner in October 2008. And on a closer look, I'm now seeing that perhaps I was being groomed for this role from way back then. Leadership, as I see it, is being able to exercise influence to enable others to achieve a goal. Author Jacob Morgan takes it a bit further. He describes a leader as someone who does more than just lead people. He says that leaders have to be driven by the right motivation and make a positive impact on the people around them. They see how things can be improved and are able to rally people to move toward a better vision. Does this sound like you? Consider the role that you play in your family, your community, your workplace, and here in this church. Can you see where and when you step up to the role of leader? Were we to add another layer, consider incorporating spirituality into leadership, and that opens the door for others to seek out and understand the inner terrain of their consciousness. This is because a spiritual leader demonstrates a genuine concern for the whole person and assists others in finding meaning in what they do. Spirituality in leadership implies that the focus will be more on people and less on formal position power, more on transformation and less on conformity, more on partnership, collaboration, and inspiration, and less on controlling. Spiritual leaders draw strength from within. They work at self-improvement, not only as leaders, but as persons. They are respectful, believe in the ability of others, are attentive to people's needs, are concerned for their well-being. They put people first. They listen sincerely, communicate honestly, and treat everyone with dignity. In its deepest meaning, spirituality is about being human. As humans, we are social beings. We want to meet with others and communicate and work together to achieve goals. Isn't that correct? The work we have ahead of us here at the temple provides an excellent opportunity for us to come together in community. You see, our recently concluded Summit 2020 generated the critical first layers of our new strategic plan. Having shifted from a pastor-centered ministry to a mission-centered ministry, it is all up to us, to each and every single one of us, to facilitate the fine-tuning and implementation of the actions and initiatives that will enable our church to thrive and to be financially viable. A big part of that will be helping each other embrace new possibilities as we build together the kind of future that we want for our church. As our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, said, man's mind should swing from inspiration to action, from contemplation to accomplishment, and from prayer to performance. So now the rubber hits the road. And yes, we're going to pray and pray hard, but we have to take action. And we have to do it in community. We have to do it together. As leaders in a spiritual community such as this, we must commit to modeling a way of relating to the challenges and opportunities of ministry that inspire others to take up meaningful roles in the life of the church. Whatever we want for our church won't show up unless we contribute to making it happen. I'll say that again. Whatever we want for our church won't show up unless we, every single one of us, contributes to making it happen. You know, the values of our church are, if I recall, peace, authenticity, integrity, love, and service. If they are what we say we stand on, we have to live them and we have to be them. We have to express and demonstrate service. We have to be in integrity. We have to experience and express peace. We have to be authentic, be our unique selves as God put us here and created us to be. And we have to embody and demonstrate love. If we are advocating that this teaching that we know as a science of mind can transform lives, we have to live by that teaching and demonstrate how it makes a difference in our own lives. We have to recognize that our spiritual practice, our observable spiritual practice, it must bring energy, raise consciousness, and inspire innovation in all aspects of our leadership, governance, and decision-making. It is my personal vision that every single person who is drawn to visit, spend time, learn, and serve in this community develops the confidence and competence to independently apply the tools and principles of the science of mind to make a significant difference to the quality of their lives and well-being. Now, I'm committed to making that happen, to move this teaching from a wonderful, well-written, well-structured intellectual experience to one where if we are on the street in traffic, if we look at the balance in our bank account and it's not in keeping with what we would want, if something does not seem to be working in our lives, we can go immediately to one of the tools, to go to spiritual mind healing treatment, to use the tools to become still and recognize and know that there is just one presence and one power. And it is expressing in all circumstances. And we can call that power is within us. And it can bring great value one if we embrace it and use it. Because I believe that if each of us thrives, then our church will thrive. And so we have a tool at our disposal and we need to use it. Now, our outgoing chair has been an absolutely great role model for us. She has been the driving force behind the transformation that has only just begun. I stand on her legacy and that of our founder, Dr. Elmo, to continue to build this church into the thriving enterprise that it already is in consciousness. As a quick aside, I've always noticed that our outgoing chair has some really nice shoes. And seeing that I am a shoe Bessie, I often catch myself looking at her shoes first before noticing what else she's wearing. However, the fact is that our shoe sizes don't match. And that's very unfortunate because I would really become her best friend. So I can't and won't ever fit into her shoes. And rightly so, as I have my own shoes, my own style and energy. And that is what I'm going to bring to this new role. The call to spiritual leadership is a call to higher service. Author Stephen Covey says, and I quote, "The inherent capacity to choose, to develop a new vision for ourselves, to re-script our lives, to begin a new habit or to let go of an old one, to forgive someone, to apologize, to make a promise and then keep it, is in any area of life, is always, it always has been and always will be, a moment of truth for every single leader." He goes on to say that efficient management, because in many organizations and in many circumstances, we know exactly what to do. We do all the right things. We put our business in order. But so this quote I found very apt. Efficient management without effective leadership is like straightening the deck chairs on the Titanic after the iceberg hit. So friends, we want you. We want you to listen to the call of service, to the call of leadership. If you have an open mind, a generous heart, and willing hands, we welcome your support in any way you feel inspired to serve. If you, like me, grapple with the challenge of stepping up to leadership, there are a few things that I ask that you consider. Firstly, acknowledge the gifts and talents with which you are blessed, and I'm sure there are many. We tend to always look at other persons and talk about them and how much they have, and then we look at ourselves and be concerned with what we think we don't have. But I believe that we're all blessed with many, many gifts. Identify what they are and ask Spirit's guidance as to how you can share them. Then do so without as much as a hem or a haw. Speak to any one of our ministers or practitioners and ask how you may serve. We welcome you with open arms. And the same applies to our friends who are overseas. I mean, the world has now collapsed into one because of technology. We can access each other so easily. So feel free to join our groups and our committees. We will have meetings from time to time, and once you show that you have an interest, we welcome you with open arms. Be kind to yourself. That's the second point I want to make. I am very, very hard on myself from time to time. I speak a lot of shoulds and shouldn'ts, and I oftentimes stop myself from doing some things because I feel that I'm not good enough. No, that has to stop. And I'm sure that if you have that same tendency, this is an ongoing journey, friends, and we have to know that when it happens, we do what we need to do to overcome those thoughts when they occur. One of the other things I want to invite you to do, can you continue to grow by coming to class? There are a couple of classes coming up now. Mental equivalents start on Thursday. That's a really powerful learning experience, and I know that it will help to expand consciousness in a way that will allow us to embrace new possibilities for ourselves. And learn the steps to practice your own spiritual mind healing treatments. I can't begin to tell you how powerful that practice is. I'll feel a feeling before, I'll do, something negative around my business, my finances, or whatever. And I do a treatment. And it's miraculous in how it serves to just shift the energy and open possibilities to allow some positive to flow into my life. It is one of the greatest tools of this teaching. The fourth thing, I invite you to partner with a practitioner. This is something that I believe we need to do more of. There are practitioners that are available who can do some amazing work with us. And if you don't feel to go into the stuff yet, just invite the practitioner to just clarify some of the principles and the teachings that we have here. Even just to have that clarity can make a difference to you. I invite you to say these affirmations with me. I allow Spirit to use all of me for good.
I allow Spirit to use all of me for good.
I bring my inherent gifts to serve others today.
I bring my inherent gifts to serve others today.
My intuitive mind guides me in perfect ways. I'll say it one time. My intuitive mind guides me in the perfect ways of service to my spiritual community. My intuitive mind guides me in the perfect ways of service to my spiritual community. Everything I do is under the influence of Spirit.
Everything I do is under the influence of Spirit.
I believe that moving forward, I shall always be acting under the influence, guidance, and inspiration of Spirit. I shall lead with love and lightheartedness, energy and enthusiasm, authenticity and accountability, diligence and dedication, excellence and efficiency, rigor and respect. That is what is a leader. As we close, I just invite you to close your eyes and just contemplate the words of this meditation inspired by Ernest Holmes. It says, Spirit within me, command my soul to do thy bidding. Compel me to follow the course of truth and wisdom. Control my inward thoughts and outward ways, and make me to understand thy laws. Command me and my soul to turn to thee for wisdom and knowledge. Let the paths of my life be made straight and sure. Let the journey of my soul find its completion in thee. Let the power that is born from within me pass into my experience without effort or labor. I rest in security and peace, for the inner light shines forth and illumines my way. And so it is. Namaste. Okay. Okay, friends, this is a point at which we would have our musical item. And this morning, the musical item is us. And so I'm going to invite you for us to sing together. This is you. Please stand.
at you and see in you the God potential there. This is the real you in reality. So let the infinite love shine through. This is you, really you. Believe God's life is the heart of you. Wait no longer to know that it's true. How marvelous, how wonderful, the universal love has manifested here in you and me. When happenings are negative, when everything seems wrong, remember that your attitude's the key. Deliberately then bring to mind the thoughts of harmony. It will reflect into your life, you'll see. So let the infinite love shine through. This is you, really you. Believe God's life is the heart of you. Wait no longer to know that it's true. How marvelous, how wonderful, the universal love has manifested here in you and me. The peace of God is not far off, witnesses in our hearts. So let's discover God within us all. This is the way to peace among the nations of the earth. Just know that God is living in us all. So let the infinite love shine through. This is you, really you. Believe God's life is the heart of you. Wait no longer to know that it's true. How marvelous, how wonderful, the universal love has manifested here in you and me.
Friends, remain standing and let us say together the prayer of Jamaica found on the flyer in your program. The radiant light of God's love is now flowing through us and from us to everything and everyone it touches. The eternal light of God's love now completely fills, covers, and surrounds our island, Jamaica. The glowing intensity of the light of God's love now interpenetrates and awakens within the hearts and minds of our countrymen and women the truths of life which set free. The light of God's love is growing and glowing in intensity in the hearts and minds of mankind everywhere. Love, health, harmony, goodwill, peace, uprightness, integrity, joy, prosperity, kindness, and our oneness under God are now established and associated. Please be seated. Okay. Friends, I'm inviting you now to take your love offering in your hands. We have a basket in the annex there, and there is one on either side of the podium. Let us say the love offering blessing together. Lovingly I give, joyfully I receive. Be thou fruitful, increase, and multiply. Bless, prosper, and enrich everyone whom you touch, and replenish all of my financial affairs. Thank you, Father. And so it is. And let us just recognize and know that the blessing that we have placed in this envelope, I'm knowing it comes from that infinite givingness of spirit. And so we know that these funds go to serve our community, to allow us to do the wonderful things that we have established. So we recognize and give thanks for the givingness of spirit expressing in and through and as each one of us today. This is the truth that prosperity is ours by right of being. And with deep gratitude, I release these words and let it be so now. And so it is. Friends, those of you who are able to give online, there's a button on our Facebook page that will invite you to do so. And if you also want to make a contribution, you can do so to the Bank of Nova Scotia, Knutsford Boulevard branch, and the account number is 20941. Okay, so let me just close our wonderful service this morning. We're about to go into our annual general meeting, and so we're just going to give thanks for this awesome opportunity to gather with God in our midst, expressing as us. And so we give thanks. We give thanks for this opportunity this morning to come together, to gather in consciousness, giving thanks for that which brought us here, giving thanks for that within us that guides us always forever upward and onward, giving thanks to know that we are open and receptive to always be hearing the voice of Spirit guiding us as we move forward in our lives, as we make powerful choices to serve and to lead in this wonderful community we know as a Temple of Light, Center for Spiritual Living. And so I know that whatever resources we need, whatever ideas we need, whatever is required of us and for us is provided. And for that I am truly, truly grateful. I say a special word for upcoming annual general meeting, knowing that as we go about the business of this church, we know that Spirit is ever present. And so I know that all is conducted in perfect order. And so I give thanks for this experience and for every single blessing that is ours, that we recognize and that we know that it's always God in the center, God at the circumference, God always equally, evenly present in, through, and as each and every one of us. And so with joy and thanksgiving, I release my word now and know that it is fully, perfectly, and awesomely accomplished. This is the truth, and I let it be so. And so it is. Friends, let's sing together. Yes, there is light on earth.
Yes, there is light on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is light on earth, the light that was meant to be. With God as our God, family honor we. Yes, we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, light begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every step I take, yes, this is my joyous goal. To take each moment and live each moment in light eternally. Yes, there is light on earth, and yes, it begins with me.
Friends, remember to join us on Tuesday for our spiritual mind healing service with practitioner Steve Golding. And on Sunday, this Sunday, we have our Youth Sunday, a very special treat for you with our youth. And so we look forward to seeing you. And also remember to, your donations, to visit our Facebook page and to click on that button. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful and blessed morning.